Auto Obsessed here. We have a 2008 daily driven BMW M3, which we have previously worked on a number of years ago. When the owner brought it to us, he brought it to us to have a complete detail, which included an extensive paint correction, applying paint protection film, and finished with ceramic coating for daily driving protection. Now the vehicle is back. The owner wants to have his vehicle looking as good as the day he picked it up from Auto Obsessed. We'll be doing an extensive detail like we did the first time, along with replacing some parts due to wear and tear from daily driving. Please stay tuned to watch this vehicle go through this transformation. Okay, so 9 years ago, this M3 underwent a full protective detail here. It had extensive paint protection film and ceramic coating installed. But it's a daily driver here in Northern Alberta, Canada. So what happens to a car over 9 years in a tough environment like this? Well, starting at the front of the car, this is the area where the vehicle gets the most impact. So the front bumper, the headlights, the first part of the hood, this is where it gets a lot of debris that's picked up from other vehicles, picked up from the road, and then thrown against the car. Obviously, this is a low riding car, sloped hood, so this area is going to get a lot. So we've got a lot of paint protection film that went onto those areas. Over the years too, the engine bay is going to require a fair amount of detailing just to clean up over the kilometers. It has over 100,000 kilometers since we first saw it and when we first did the extensive detail. The wheels on the car as well. Wheels are also another area that gets a lot of abuse. They're on the road, they pick up, brake dust, heat, all the contaminants that are on the road. Here we have snow and ice and water and salt, calcium, light sand, gravel, lots of things that happen to the vehicles here. So paint protection film as well over time, it's like a temporary protection. So as it gets older, the sand and the rocks that hit the vehicle kind of will do light penetrations through the film and also tattered over time. So the film gets quite tattered. On the side of the vehicle, just from it being daily driver, seeing parking lots, being parked in the garage with other vehicles, we do see door marks over time, so it has a number of door marks through the car. The back of the car, on these M cars, it's really bad. So it's a performance car. This one's got a V8 engine, normally aspirated. They're run quite rich, so the back of the car gets extensive exhaust residue. A lot of exhaust residue to deal with. Even under proper maintenance washing, it's still prevalent on the back of the vehicle. Exhaust tips as well on the performance car, lots of carbon buildup, lots of soot that has to be dealt with. So those are some of the main things that happen over a period of time, even doing the car right. And this owner did. This owner right away brought it to us. We did everything that he did everything that we recommended to put a really good protection on this car. He wanted it to keep it for quite a while, and he was very specific. We're going to be daily driving this car. And that's what we did for him. The interior over time as well. All interiors, that's where you live in it 100% of the time you're driving. So it gets a lot of abuse. Obviously, all the seat time is in the interior. So a full extensive interior detail, going through and making sure all the vents and glass and carpets are shampooed. Just meticulously fine detailing the car, getting it cleaned up and making it look as new as possible. The seats cleaned and conditioned, and again, brought back and make this vehicle look just like the day that he picked it up 9 years ago from us. We can't make a true assessment of the paintwork until we wash away the dirt and grime. The car is covered in a layer of grit and slush, and we want to remove those abrasives as much as we can before we start our hand wash. Hand washing puts us in physical contact with the paint, so the less dirt there, the lower the chance that we introduce more scratches on the paint. We're starting by rinsing the car with a pressure washer. The water spray knocks the loose dirt off the car with minimal effort. Here we're washing the wheels. We're using a tire brush to scrub the rubber and wheel woolies brushes to scrub in between the spokes and around the inner band of the wheel. Using a mini easy detail brush to get the small decorative space between the spokes and a boar's hair brush makes quick work on the outer face of the wheel. Detailing brushes around the rim and the lug nuts. Next, we're going to foam the car with a wax removal DECON shampoo. The foam is useful because it contains surfactants. These are soapy chemicals that lift the encapsulated dirt. You can see here we're letting the shampoo foam dwell on the car so it has time to lift the dirt off of the surface. And when we come along with our wash mitt, the dirt gets carried away off of the car. We don't have to use a lot of force or scrub hard. This is just a gentle hand wash. We use 2 buckets for our hand wash. One bucket has our shampoo solution and the other is filled with rinse water. The reason for this split is that our wash mitt picks up grit and abrasives when we scrub an area of the car. Taking the dirt-filled mitt off of the car and into the rinse bucket, we can agitate and rinse away a lot of that dirt we just picked up before we fill our mitt with fresh shampoo solution from our other bucket. We don't want dirt in our shampoo solution, and we don't want to scratch the car with abrasives that we picked up in our wash mitt from somewhere else in the car. So we take this extra step of rinsing the mitt to minimize how much marring and scratching the hand wash stage inflicts on the car. Ideally 0. There's always a little bit of marring from a hand wash. It's physically impossible to avoid it, but with 2 buckets we can certainly make it a negligible amount of marring. Now before we rinse, there are a few narrow areas that we can get to with the detailing brush, like the badging on the rear trunk lid, the grills, the trunk lid release above the license plate, around the fuel door. Areas like that around detailing brush is a great tool for washing those hard to get areas. Okay, hand wash is complete. We'll do a power washer rinse now to get the soapy water off of the car. And look at the floor, you can see the insane amount of dirt this car was carrying. With our wash and rinse done, we want to dry the car. We're using our tried and tested Metro Master Blaster air dryer here. This powerful air dryer knocks the water off the car really quickly. It's a touchless dry, so we don't have to touch the paint with a towel or a chamois. And it's a nice benefit because, again, we want to touch the paint as little as possible to minimize marring and scratches. Once the car is dry, we're still going to see some stubborn spots on the paint that won't come off with a simple hand wash. I'm talking about iron, tar, and carbon contamination. Now with this particular car, it's a white car, and the iron, tar, carbon, and exhaust residue is crazy obvious. I can clearly see the discoloration of the exhaust residue here, and it's like a brown smear all over the back of the car. And the iron, the little specks of orange rust, and the tar, the little black specks of tar, really stand out. So even though we just washed this car, these stubborn contaminants still need to be removed. So the first stage here, we're going to do iron removal. We're going to be using a chemical that's specifically made to remove those iron specks. So there's those little dots, kind of, they look like orange dots. They could be black at first until they start to rust, but it's little bits of iron that are stuck into the first layer of the clear coat, and they don't wash off after regular washing. You can see them here. So we're going to use a chemical and we're going to go through and we're going to do our iron removal process. Moving on to the tar removal process, so very similar to what we did with the iron removal. The tar removal, we're going to use a special chemical, once again, that's dedicated just for that purpose. So you're going to see these little dots on the road, and a lot of people feel that, oh, I don't have tar in my car because I didn't drive through any tar. Well, that's not really how it works, especially in our region and in the prairie provinces in Canada. We have a lot of this tar that's maybe done with the seal that they put on top of the pavement or filling the cracks. So you get these little black dots all over the car, and the only way to take those off, or at least one of the ways to take those off, is by using a dedicated tar removal product. So after we did both the iron and tar removal using chemicals, we're going to follow up now using clay. And the reason we're doing this is because this car has a lot of contamination. We used the chemical process first, and that got off most of the iron and most of the tar contamination, but we still have areas that still have a fair amount of contamination, and we're going to go ahead now with clay. And we're going to use the clay now to go over the rest of the car and pick up as much as we possibly can. So the iron is gone, the tar is gone, and we don't see those specks on the paint anymore, but the exhaust residue is still present. Even though this car had a ceramic coating and was properly maintenance washed, it was no match for the exhaust residue that a performance engine can create. This is pretty normal for a BMW M car. Even after we did a major decontamination wash, remove iron, tar, and then proceeded to use clay to remove as much of the surface contamination as possible, the exhaust residue was still present on the rear of this car. We had to do a special procedure to remove the residue by hand in the hard to reach areas and by machine in areas that we could get our smaller polishers in. Now you can see that back end of the car is fully cleaned and is finally bright white again. The car had several door dents from other vehicles opening their doors into this M3, so we did some paintless dent removal. This was an important step, as once the car is fully polished and finished, those dents will stand out and will be very noticeable and will take away from the overall appearance of the car. We removed the old paint protection film. It had done its job and protected the paint from rock chips and abrasion from daily driving. It is a temporary protection and over the years starts to look tattered and needed replacement. If the PPF was not installed, the car would require paint work in all the impact areas. So the investment was well worth it and the owner did the right thing. Now we're moving on to the final wash stage. This is an important step because we've used several products and processes to do the decontamination stage. We've been using chemicals, clay lubricant. We still might have some debris that needs to be washed off, residues from the products. We've also removed the paint protection film and we've had to use products to take off the glue residue. So we want to make sure that the vehicle goes through its final wash and to remove as much as we can off of the paint before we go into our polishing stages. Now into our polishing stage, or we'll refer to it as a paint correction. So essentially what we're doing here is we're using the machines, so using an abrasive compound and various abrasive polishing pads to remove the light scratches, swirls. Some people might call it spider webbing. Professionally, we call it rids, any sort of defects that are on the paint. On the white car and most lights, you're not going to see it, but we can see that there is, over the years, a fair amount of light marring and scratching that's occurred. Overall, the owner did a very good job when he was doing the maintenance wash, and we don't have extensive damage, but enough that we want to do a full paint correction. So here we're polishing all the areas of the car. We're also going to be polishing the headlights, the taillights, and all other areas that we can polish and make this car look beautiful again. So over the years, some of the emblems on the car really took abuse, specifically on the back end of the car. We're unable to restore these by any detailing techniques. They're too far gone and they're going to need replacing. So we're going to go and we're going to replace the badging. Over time, the hood struts and the trunk struts are weak. It will no longer hold up the hood. So we're going to replace a few things, some small parts, but they're going to make a big difference when we're finished this vehicle. We finished the polishing stages. The car looks amazing. Now we're going to go ahead and apply the ceramic coating. So this is an intermediate to a pro level applied product. It's a product that's going to give one of the most durable last protection stages. So in comparison to a wax sealant or coating, it gives us a longer lasting protection, really great looks. And one of the most important features is it's quite hydrophobic, and it makes washing and maintenance on this vehicle a lot easier. And now for our final touch-ups and our final inspection in the Auto Obsessed clean room. Here we're going to go through the vehicle and ensure that everything is the way it's supposed to be for this particular job. We're going to spend a fair amount of time in just going through all of the details and doing any final touch-ups that are needed and get the car ready for its delivery to the client. We take some final beauty shots to give to the client. Clients always love when they get their picture presentation of the car and some of the processes it went through, some before, some afters, and some what we call the beauty shots. That's where the car's posing, highly lit, everything's perfect, and it's their car. This isn't a stock photo, it's their car posing for our cameras, and we give that to them when we deliver the car. It's a nice little token of our appreciation. So here we are. What a massive transformation. This car looks absolutely amazing. It's so fresh, incredibly glossy, very, very happy with the results. It's difficult when you get a car and looking at the beginning video where you see the condition of the car, it's really tough to get an understanding of how it's going to end up. Now, a big plus in this scenario is the owner did the right thing 9 years ago, brought it to us. We did an extensive preparation, protection type of detail at that time. We did everything right the first time. We put as much protection as we possibly could with recommending what we thought would be a very good protection and working with the client on the budget and everything. You know, that's a testament also to final results. The car has just over 183,000 kilometers. If it didn't have those initial stages, there's no possible way we'd get the results. Not driving daily and not driving in our type of conditions. It would have to be repainted in several areas, and certain things just couldn't be detailed. We'd have to replace or have things refinished. So that's a huge plus. The owner did absolutely the right thing. I'm very, very excited the way the car turned out. The gloss is incredible. A white car, it's really hard to make a white car look glossy, and this one's doing a really, really good job. That black carbon fiber roof looks amazing. All of the contamination came out. You'll notice the car is a completely different color white. So it was kind of a yellow, dull color coming in. Now it's super white, super bright. We're in a white facility, so if the cars are off-white, you see it right away. You can see that this one's really, really bright. Obviously, it's not a true white to begin with, but a massive change from the way it looked before. The interior is staggering. When the car first came in, once again, the interior doesn't look to be in great shape. Obviously, it needed a little bit of love, and the main parts, you know, there wasn't damages. It went through regular maintenance, and now the car's sitting here. You know, the engine bay looks phenomenal. We've got new paint protection film on the car. The car's all been corrected, ceramic coated, final detailed, went through all of our final inspections, and now it's ready for the owner to take delivery. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see the owner's expression when he sees the car, has not seen the car while it's been here, so sees the car, and I'm sure he's going to be floored. I'm very excited for that. Hello, Lucas. Good seeing you.
Very good seeing you.
You excited?
Very.
Okay, let's take a look. Go ahead.
Awesome. Wow.
So here she is.
Glistening like brand new. Wow. This white always blows my mind. Love it.
Yeah, it's a good color.
A little bit better than the yellow that I sent it to you as.
It changed, it definitely changed a few tones, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, this is looking beautiful. Unreal.
Is anything jumping out?
Everything. Honestly, this back was just a disaster. It looked like totally different color. It was like the yellowest yellow you could possibly imagine. Never thought you could get that out. It's looking unreal.
So you brought it to us first 9 years ago. You did everything that I would say that a person should do. So you did the preventative detail, which we prepared the paint, we did paint correction, we did the paint protection film ceramic coating, and you brought it to us a few times to do maintenance washes. We told you some techniques to do maintenance washes as well, and it was quite a long time, like 9 years.
Yeah.
And one thing I know for me that I was really impressed with was, when the car's done right, yes, it's going to take some time to get it back, but you tell me, does it look?
Looks the same as it did 9 years ago, which is unbelievable.
Right,
unbelievable.
And you've added.
You blew my mind 9 years ago, and now it's right back to where it was, which I never thought that was even possible. We got to see the inside here. I got to see the inside.
The inside.
Wow, wow. It's unreal.
So lots of work on the inside.
That was a lot of work on the inside. Yeah, this was a little rocket ship between here and Calgary many a times. So yeah. This has definitely got some good miles on it, and
it looks basically brand new.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no damage.
It was a daily drive. So I mean, it was a daily drive,
yeah.
and almost 10 years. That's pretty unbelievable to get it back to this point.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty shocking.
And the leather held up incredibly well.
Yeah.
Under the hood, one of the things these E92s, that V8 normally aspirated, awesome engine.
Nice.
The other thing too, you noticed?
Yeah. It's not smoking me in the head when I look down.
The hood wouldn't hold itself up, so we replaced the gas struts up front here as well.
Nice.
Did a full detail on the engine base, so again, now it looks brand new.
Yeah. The
underside, everything is exactly.
It honestly looks the same as when you delivered it 10 years ago almost. That was unreal. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, for how well this car was taken care of over the 10 years here, of a lot of the work that was done at the start, I think that obviously made it possible for this to even happen, because I don't think this is even 1% different than what I saw 10 years ago almost.
Yeah, so you anxious to get her on the road?
Yeah, fall right back in love with this bad boy. Perfect. Happy to get it back out there. So thanks so much. This is amazing.
Yeah, no problem.
Amazing as always.
Thank you for your business.
Yeah, happy to always come here, that's for sure.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video on this beautiful BMW M3. All the products we use can be purchased in our store or online at autoobsessed.com. We've also put all the links in our description below. In addition, we also have the link to the full project write-up with all the pictures and more details on this detail. So be sure to click the link and check that out. Please help bring us more auto detailing content to you by giving us a like and subscribing to our channel. And thank you for watching.